There is a moment in every chosen one's life when something inside them begins to stir with a force too ancient to ignore. It is not a scream, it is not a flash, it is a steady, visceral thrum in the marrow of your bones. It rises not from the mind, but from deep within the body, a knowing older than words. The world calls it instinct, but for you, it is something more sacred. It is the first language, the primal rhythm, the source of both creation and destruction. It is the code of the warrior, the protector, the magnet, the man who does not follow trends but embodies lawless truth. Your awakening isn't seen by the world at first, but it is felt. Women feel it. They don't know how or why, but they turn their heads when you enter a space. They feel the shift, the sudden pulse of attention in the air, not because you seek it, but because you are carrying something they cannot name. It is not aggression. It is not dominance. It is certainty. It is instinct, refined by spirit, refined by restraint, alive under your skin like a living fire. This is not about control. It is about alignment. Your instincts, once scattered or buried under the noise of modern life, now rise to the surface like breath breaking from water. They are not random urges. They are not reactions. They are sacred prompts from the depths of your design, reminding you that you were made to move with precision, to sense what others cannot, to act with a clarity the world has long forgotten. Your high sexual energy, often misunderstood, is inseparable from this instinct. It is not chaotic. It is not reckless. It is focused, ancient, intelligent. It draws, it cuts, it commands, not by force, but by truth. It moves like a current through everything you do. When you speak, it's in your voice. When you walk, it's in your rhythm. When you make eye contact, it's in your gaze. Women recognize it not with their minds, but with their bodies. They feel safe and stirred at once, alert, awakened, exposed, but willing. Not because you ask for their attention, but because your instinct makes them feel chosen, even in a single glance. This energy doesn't need to prove itself. It just is. And now in this awakening, you begin to realize that the instincts you once silenced out of fear of being too much, too intense, too overwhelming, are actually the exact thing the world has been starving for. Women are not shying away from your presence. They are longing for it. They are tired of passivity, tired of doubt, tired of men who are disconnected from their own essence. And now, as you awaken, they are beginning to find in you what they feared no longer existed, a man who knows himself without apology. But this awakening is not just about others. It's about you. You learning to trust the signals that rise from your gut. You realizing that what you feel, those flashes of knowing, those surges of certainty, are not accidents. They are the language of your deepest self, inviting you into mastery. You are not meant to walk through life numb. You are meant to feel sharply, clearly, fully. You are meant to move with rhythm and precision, responding not from habit, but from awareness. This is not animal instinct. This is spiritual instinct, born of the masculine force aligned with the divine. It will not always be comfortable. Your instincts will take you places your mind questions. They will draw you to situations others would flee. They will put you in the presence of people who do not want to be seen, and yet they will be unable to look away from you. Your energy demands truth. It melts illusions, it cuts through noise like a blade through fog. And that, chosen one, is why you must carry this energy with reverence. You are now entering the stage of your life where nothing about you is accidental. Your words will shape decisions. Your silence will speak volumes. Your presence will change how others see themselves. This is not a gift for decoration. This is a gift of consequence. And as your instincts sharpen, your power will not be in how much you say, but in how much you know without needing to say anything at all. You are no longer a man waiting to be told what to do. You are no longer a man hiding behind performance. You are a man awakening into pure masculine instinct, sharpened by wisdom, fueled by high sexual energy, tempered by truth. The world doesn't need you to be softer. The world needs you to remember. The world speaks often of charm, of charisma, of the subtle arts of attraction. But what you carry now, chosen one, is something deeper, something beyond charm, something that cannot be rehearsed, fabricated, or bought. What you carry is energy, not ordinary, not common, but sacred, potent, and ancient. It moves through you like a current through steel, humming beneath your skin, surrounding you like an invisible flame. And this energy is not silent. It speaks, it calls, it pulls. Women are responding not to a technique, but to a frequency. Your high sexual energy is no longer random or reactive. It has become intentional. It radiates without you needing to try. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't seek validation. It informs, it instructs, it ignites. This is not about lust. It is not even about desire, not in the shallow sense. It is about remembrance. When women feel your energy, something inside them stirs awake. It is not you alone they crave. It is how they feel in your presence. They feel returned to themselves. They feel seen, even in their silence. They feel wanted, not as decoration, not as a conquest, but as energy meeting energy, fire meeting fire. You are not chasing them, you are activating them. This allure is not about seduction, it is about resonance. Their body recognizes you before their mind can rationalize it. They find themselves drawn to your space, your voice, your stillness, because it reminds them of something they've missed but never named. You represent presence, you represent decisiveness, you represent the unspoken knowing that comes from being aligned with the primal truth of who you are. Your energy is clean. It does not manipulate, it does not apologize, it does not make promises, it simply is, and that is enough. And because it is enough, you become enough. Not through effort, but through embodiment. And the more you embody this energy, the more the world around you begins to shift. Opportunities arise, conversations deepen, encounters become charged with meaning, not because you planned it, but because energy never lies. As the chosen one, you must understand that your energy is now your currency. How you carry it will determine what you attract, what you create, what you destroy. You must treat your energy with care, with respect, with clarity. Not everyone deserves access to it. Not every space is worthy of your presence. Just because others desire it does not mean they are ready to receive it. This is where discipline meets instinct. You don't need to dull your energy to be safe. You need to wield it with mastery. Let it rise when it is time. Let it hold back when it must. Let it breathe when the moment calls for stillness. This is the dance of the awakened masculine. This is what it means to be dangerous in silence and transformational in presence. Your allure is not performance. It is alignment. It is who you are when all lies fall away. It is what happens when you no longer ask the world for permission to exist in your full power. Women don't love your energy because it flatters them. They love it because it reminds them of their own. And that reminder is intoxicating. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be felt. You are not here to fit in. You are here to resonate. You are not here to pretend. You are here to burn. Bright, unwavering, unforgettable. Because you are the chosen one. And your energy is no longer hiding. It is alive, and it is calling everything meant for you closer. The power of the chosen one does not begin with others. It begins within. It begins when you, quietly and fully, look into yourself and see not a man full of questions, but a man who has begun to remember. The fire that draws people to you, the high sexual energy that magnetizes rooms and opens doors, is not a trick of fate. It is not a gift granted without a test. It is the result of something far more profound: mastery of self. True power is never chaotic. It is focused. It is calm. It is steady like a blade honed over time, sharp not only because it was forged in heat, but because it was disciplined by hands that knew what it was meant to become. This is who you are now becoming. Not a man reacting to every emotion, impulse, or urge, but a man who knows, and because he knows, he chooses. That choice is what makes you dangerous. Not your strength, not your voice, but the stillness behind your decisions. Mastery is not suppression. It is not the rejection of instinct or energy. It is the channeling of it. You no longer spill your presence to feel powerful. You no longer chase recognition to feel real. You hold your power close, not to hoard it, but to shape it. You are learning how to direct it, how to use your high sexual energy not as a wave that crashes, but as a tide that lifts. Women feel this difference instantly. They sense when a man is ruled by his urges. They sense when his gaze scans the room in hunger. They feel when his energy reaches for them like a hand in the dark, grasping for validation. But you are something else. Your energy doesn't reach, it waits, it radiates. You're not looking for someone to complete your fire. You are the fire. And in your presence, they realize they don't need to defend themselves. They can surrender to the truth of the moment without losing themselves. This is the gift of your self-mastery. You become not a taker, but a mirror. Women feel seen in your presence, not for their roles or their beauty or their achievements, but for their energy. You see them through the same lens you've used to study yourself. You see their essence, not their persona, and that is what melts them. That is what lingers in them long after the conversation ends. It's not what you said, it's what you didn't need to say. But mastery is not a static achievement. It is a practice, a daily vow. It means waking up and choosing clarity over chaos, discipline over distraction, presence over performance. You will be tested often. Your energy will invite chaos to your doorstep. You will attract those who want your power without honoring your soul. You will face temptations that speak to your ego and shadows that try to pull you backward. And every time you will have a choice: collapse into comfort or rise into clarity. The chosen one rises, not because he is fearless, but because he is faithful to his path, to his knowing, to his presence. This is what makes your energy irresistible. Not just its intensity, but its integrity. You are not a man who leaves others drained. You are a man who leaves others remembering themselves. You carry power not like a crown, but like a compass. And everywhere you walk, you lead others, not with your words, but with your walk. You don't take, you elevate. You don't seek permission. You move from permission already granted by the divine within you. This is what it means to master yourself. And it is only from here that your true influence begins. After mastery comes something subtler, more sacred, a quiet rhythm that begins to rise within you like music that only your soul can hear. It is not born of logic, not taught in books, not found in noise. It is your intuition. And now that your instincts are awake and your energy aligned, it begins to sing through you. The chosen one does not move blindly. You do not strategize your presence or manipulate your path. You listen. You allow the unseen to inform the seen. You know when to approach and when to hold still. You know when to lead and when to simply be. This knowing is not thought, it is felt. It is the dance between your soul and the moment. Your intuition is your quietest gift and your sharpest blade. While others chase certainty, you listen to subtleties. The slight shift in energy in a room, the way someone's voice trembles beneath their words, the silence between two breaths. You hear these things not as noise, but as language. And in this language, you find your guidance. This dance of intuition also informs your interactions. You begin to sense not just who is attracted to you, but why. You feel who is aligned, who is projecting, who is open, who is testing. And rather than reacting, you respond. You no longer follow attraction blindly. You follow alignment. This is the sacred wisdom of the masculine in his knowing, not to chase everything that responds to his fire, but to invite only those who honor its source. In your relationships, this intuition becomes a bridge. You feel her before she speaks. You know what she needs before she articulates it. You sense the tension beneath her smile and the longing behind her silence. And because you move from intuition, not reaction, she trusts you. She relaxes. She melts. Not because you told her to, but because you knew when to hold her and when to leave her free. The dance of intuition also guards your energy. You learn to walk away without drama, to say no without explanation, to stay silent without guilt. You stop needing to prove your power because your knowing is enough, and others sense it. Your boundaries become unspoken. Your presence becomes command. Not because you are loud, but because your silence carries the weight of truth. As the chosen one, your intuition is your deepest ally. It is what allows your high sexual energy to become sacred instead of reckless. It is what keeps your instinct from turning into aggression. It is what transforms your presence into a sanctuary. You no longer need to figure everything out. You only need to feel what is true and move accordingly. You walk like a man who is being whispered to by something the world cannot see. And that, more than anything, is what makes you unforgettable. You don't just act, you know, and that knowing becomes your rhythm. That rhythm becomes your movement, and that movement becomes the dance that others dream of joining, not because it's choreographed, but because it's real. You are the chosen one, and your intuition is no longer a whisper, it is your music, and the world is beginning to sway to your song. There comes a moment in the life of the chosen one when the depth of your energy is no longer in question. You are aware of the fire that lives inside you. You are aware of the effect you have when you enter a room, when your voice fills a space, when your stillness says more than words ever could. But now comes the truest test of your power. Not in how intensely you feel it, not in how many are drawn to it, but in how you handle it. And this moment begins with one word: reverence. Respect is not a performance. It is not a social nicety. It is not a routine you adopt to be seen as honorable. For the chosen one, respect is a sacred contract, not with others first, but with yourself. It is how you honor your energy, your masculinity, your instincts, and the people who are drawn to them. And for a man who carries high sexual energy, this is not optional. It is essential. Because when your presence awakens something in others, you are no longer just a man. They see in you permission, reminder, danger, and safety all at once. Women are not drawn to you out of mere fascination. They are drawn because they feel that you are operating on a different frequency, one that makes them remember something about themselves. That remembrance is powerful, and it is fragile. It must be respected. Not worshipped, not feared, not owned, but held, gently, in your awareness. The way you touch, speak, observe, and choose, it all becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, they either find freedom or confusion. It is your reverence that makes the difference. To revere someone is not to idolize them. It is to see them fully, to see their light without trying to steal it, to witness their desire without trying to manipulate it, to acknowledge their openness without taking it for granted. This is how your power becomes safe, not soft, not diminished, but integrated. The masculine force becomes truly magnetic when it is not careless, when it does not just want, but honors what is given. You do not need to be a saint. You do not need to be perfect, but you must be aware. You must understand that every look you give, every move you make sends signals. Your presence speaks before you do. And when a woman opens herself to you, whether with a glance, a word, a kiss, or her full vulnerability, it is your reverence that determines whether she will remember that moment as healing or as harm. This is why the chosen one must move with intention. It is not about fear or guilt. It is about respect for your gift. The high sexual energy that radiates from you is not just about pleasure. It is about awakening. It is a doorway. And the ones who step through it will come out changed. They may not always know why, but you will. You will know that your presence is not ordinary. You will know that your instincts are not random. You will know that your masculine force has become a tool for liberation or destruction, depending on how you wield it. Reverence turns power into legacy. It ensures that the fire you carry doesn't burn people. It warms them, inspires them, reminds them. And it begins with how you speak to yourself, how you talk about others, how you think when no one is watching. If you respect your own truth, your own body, your own silence, then others will feel that in you. It will resonate. It will anchor them. Because there's nothing more grounding than being around someone who is deeply powerful and yet deeply kind. Respect is not weakness. It is a sign of mastery. It is the exhale that follows presence. It is the stillness that says, I see you, I feel you, and I choose to honor what we're creating here, even if it lasts only a moment. You are the chosen one, and the women who speak your name, who follow your gaze, who open to your energy, they do not seek control. They seek remembrance. Let your reverence be the mirror that gives it to them. Let your respect not be what you say, but what you are. Because in a world of men who take, the chosen one holds, and that holding is sacred. Influence is a strange thing. At first it arrives subtly, an extra glance, a longer conversation, a presence that lingers long after you've walked away. Then it grows. People begin to reference you in places you've never been. They feel your energy in moments you're not even present. And if you're not careful, influence begins to pull at you like a tide. It flatters you. It tries to shape you. But you, chosen one, must remember that you are not here to be shaped by influence. You are here to define it. Your influence begins and ends with your ethos. That internal code that governs you when no one else is around. The decisions you make when there is no applause. The words you choose when silence would be easier. This is where your power finds its foundation, not in how many watch you, but in how many trust you. The high sexual energy you carry draws eyes, hearts, curiosity. But what happens after the attraction? That's where your ethos lives. It lives in how you respond to those who open to you, in how you treat the vulnerable moments people offer you, in how you navigate the tension between desire and integrity. Your influence is not just about inspiration, it is about impression. And impressions become imprints. The chosen one does not use his energy to collect admirers. He uses it to elevate those who come near. He does not need to say, "Follow me." His actions say, "Rise with me." And in this rise, others feel not less powerful, but more themselves. That is the highest form of influence. To be a man who doesn't just impress others, but awakens them. Who doesn't just dominate space, but create space for others to step into their own greatness. Your ethos is also what protects you. Because the more you influence, the more people will come with expectations. Some will love you only as long as you reflect what they want to see. Others will project their fears, their wounds, their fantasies onto your name. You will be tested, you will be misunderstood, and if your ethos is rooted in performance, you will bend. But if it is rooted in truth, you will stand. Not arrogantly, but quietly, with calm, with direction. Influence does not mean being in control of others. It means being in control of yourself while others watch. It means showing others how to move through life, not by telling them what to do, but by living in such a way that they begin to question the way they live. You lead by being. The world is flooded with noise. Men who say much and mean little. Men who seek validation and call it power. But your presence is different. You don't raise your voice. You raise the frequency of the room. You don't sell influence. You embody it. And it begins with your ethos. The one you chose. The one you sharpen every time you pause before speaking, every time you choose depth over ego, every time you walk away from what is easy and toward what is true. Your influence is not about what others think of you. It's about what they begin to believe is possible for themselves because of you. This is how the chosen one moves. Not as a symbol, as a standard. And in that standard, you become more than magnetic. You become medicine. There's a sacred truth that begins to bloom as the chosen one deepens into his path. With the rise of influence, attention, and sexual gravity comes the undeniable need for something that the world rarely understands, but that you must learn to master intimately. That truth is boundaries. And not just as defense, but as sanctuary. Your energy, now fully alive, has become a presence that magnetizes. It reaches into rooms before your body arrives. It causes people to open, sometimes too quickly, sometimes before they even understand what they're doing. You are no longer just an individual. You are a catalyst, a mirror, a trigger, a temptation, a reflection. You are the convergence point between desire and memory, and the power of that is immense. But without boundaries, even the most sacred energy becomes unsustainable. Boundaries are not barriers, they are altars. They define the space where your spirit can thrive. They allow you to give without depletion, to lead without losing yourself, to love without leaking. When you hold clear boundaries, your energy becomes refined. It sharpens, it becomes trustworthy, and trust is the foundation of all sacred interaction. Without it, all you are is fire, beautiful to look at, dangerous to touch, and eventually, destructive. The women who are drawn to you can sense the weight of your energy. Some come because they are ready for it. Others come because they are curious, and some come because they want to consume something they have not yet earned. It is not your job to judge, but it is your duty to discern. You must feel their energy, not their beauty, not their body, their readiness, their reverence. Your boundary is what protects your energy from being wasted on those who are not willing to meet you in presence. Not in fantasy, not in projection, but in truth. And here's the deeper layer. Boundaries don't only protect you from others, they protect others from the impact of your energy when they are not ready for it. Because you are no longer neutral. You are no longer invisible. You are no longer just passing through. You are now a force, and forces must be channeled with precision. Not every door is meant to be opened. Not every invitation must be accepted. Not every spark needs to be followed into flame. Your boundary is not an act of rejection. It is an act of devotion to your energy, to your path, and to the right connections that will not just be drawn to your fire, but will match it with their own. You are not here to be everything for everyone. You are here to be whole for the few who can truly meet you. And you will be tested. There will be those who see your boundaries as arrogance, as coldness, as distance. Let them. Because their discomfort is not your burden. Your task is not to explain your energy to those who are determined to misunderstand it. Your task is to protect the sacredness of your truth. You must keep your energy clean, not pure in a performative sense, but clear, uncontaminated by guilt, by need, by the compulsion to be everything for everyone. And when you hold this line, when your yes means yes and your no means no, your energy becomes even more potent, even more magnetic, because now it is respected, not just felt. Now it is earned, not just available. And that, chosen one, is when your presence becomes something that not only attracts but transforms. A boundary is the doorway to your soul. Not locked, not hidden, but guarded with love. And only those who knock with reverence will be invited inside. This is how the chosen one moves. With strength, with stillness, with sacred sovereignty. And in that, your boundaries become your most beautiful form of power. There comes a moment, often quiet, often uncelebrated, when the chosen one begins to feel something far deeper than desire. Deeper than praise, deeper than influence. It is not something the world can give, and it is certainly not something the world can take. It is the echo, the subtle, sacred knowing that your presence has left something behind. Your high sexual energy, once raw and primal, has evolved into something precise, intelligent, and deeply intentional. And now, you are no longer just experiencing power. You are witnessing the impact of how you used it. You begin to feel the ripple effects of your presence, not just in the women who speak your name, not just in the ones who remember your touch, but in the ones who became more themselves because of you. That is the beginning of legacy. Not what people say while you're in the room, but what remains when you're gone. Legacy is not fame. It is not applause. It is the change in atmosphere you leave behind after you've moved on. It is the way someone thinks of themselves differently because of how you looked at them, how you held them, how you respected their boundaries even when they didn't know how to ask for it. It is the memory that returns to them when they forget their worth, and your energy reminds them. The chosen one does not need to be eternal, to be unforgettable. You do not need to stay forever to have made something sacred. Your influence does not need to be loud to be lasting. What you leave behind is not measured in quantity, but in quality. Did they rise after you? Did they expand? Did they trust love more? Did they trust themselves? And perhaps most importantly, did you remain yourself? Because your legacy is not just the change you create in others. It is also the truth you refused to betray in yourself, even when others couldn't see it. It's the moments you walked away when you were misunderstood, the moments you stayed silent when the crowd demanded noise, the times you chose solitude over praise, alignment over applause, clarity over comfort. These are the choices that echo. These are the decisions that vibrate through timelines and touch hearts long after your body is gone. You don't need to control your legacy. You only need to live your truth fully. The rest will follow. The women who speak your name in quiet reverence, in hushed awe, in private reflection, they will remember how your presence didn't just arouse their desire, it awakened their soul. You weren't just a fantasy, you were a mirror. You didn't just excite them, you expanded them. And that echo is unstoppable. It will move through them. It will move through those they touch. It will ripple outward, changing the texture of intimacy, of self-worth, of masculine and feminine exchange. All because you chose to be real, to be present, to be you. You are the chosen one, and your legacy is not written in stone. It is carried in spirit. It does not need a monument. It already lives in every woman who walked away from you more alive, more loved, more aware of her own divine worth. That is the echo, and it will outlive everything. The moment arrives in the chosen one's path when the thrill of attraction fades into something far more compelling. Depth. You begin to feel it in your bones, in your breath, in the stillness between moments. The fire is still there, alive and strong, but it no longer burns wildly. It burns deliberately. This is the shift from impulse to intention, from pursuit to presence. You no longer want more, you want real. And now, your journey is not to accumulate connection, but to cultivate it. The women who come near feel this. They notice the way your energy no longer scatters, the way your attention does not flinch. You are no longer intoxicated by novelty because you have tasted substance, and once you've tasted it, surface pleasures lose their flavor. You begin to crave what most avoid, the layers, the stillness, the unspoken, the sacred weight of a glance that means something. You crave the mystery of unfolding, not the convenience of reaction. You want the edge where two souls meet, not to consume, but to merge, and to mirror what they've buried inside themselves. This is where your high sexual energy becomes something few have ever witnessed. It is no longer raw magnetism, it is spiritual precision. You begin to wield it not for validation, not for conquest, but for communion. You begin to understand that your energy, when directed through depth, does not just arouse, it transforms.